The trend towards a conservative majority appears to continue, at least in most of the polls. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun, joined by Warren Kinsella. Warren, these latest polls from Abacus, from Angus Reid, have true and on liberals reaching for nano straws, trying to say that, as you put it on X the other day, the patient ain't dead yet. When you look at the totality of polls, Leger, I think it's 9 or 10 points. Abacus, now a 14-point lead. Angus Reid, 12-point lead. Do we believe these? Do we believe a nanos tie? Do we believe a research company 6-point lead? What do you take from this?
What my advice to everybody with the free media polls, and we run them sometimes too, is there's often worth what you pay for them, which is nothing. What matters most, you and I know, is a trend over a long period of time. And the trend has been showing, at least for the summer, as you wrote in the Toronto Sun today, it's been showing that Pierre Poilievre is ahead and that Justin Trudeau is behind. And so what's happened here is not some big, dramatic, sharp aberration by the looks of it. It looks like a slow, gradual build by Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives. And that's got to be making the blood run cold in Justin Trudeau's PMO.
You and I were talking about this on the weekend. It was Saturday or Sunday when I was talking with you on the Kinsella Cast. Subscribe if you haven't, folks. And I said, look, polls can be fickle. Back in May, we were talking about how they were tied, but it has been a steady, gradual increase. But, people trying to say David Coletto and Abacus is a conservative polling firm now. The TrueNon folks are sounding like the crazies on the conservative side who, when the polls don't look good their way, they say, oh, well, polls are all wrong, Hillary. People need to look at, as you said, the trend and not just dismiss all polls if they don't like them.
Yeah, and yes, and they all do that. It'll be like Viking 6789 on Twitter saying you guys don't know anything about polling. And guys like you and I get things wrong sometimes, but we're paid to pay attention to trend lines. And the trend line favors Pierre Poilievre, and for a good reason. Like, he's been learning from his mistakes. He looks better. He looks happier. He's out there meeting people. He looks like $1 million. Justin Trudeau, for all kinds of reasons, looks kind of glum and down in the dumps. And, the Liberals just, I don't think, have taken Poilievre seriously. As you pointed out on your podcast when you spoke to Corey Tonight the other day, who led Doug Ford's campaign, the Liberals made a huge mistake. And this is what I used to say to my war room charges all the time. Define or be defined. You got to get there first. You got to fill up, the glass of water before the other guy fills up their glass of water. Because if you don't, you got a situation like the Liberals got now, which is Pierre Poilievre has defined himself as somebody who's not as scary as they'd like him to be.
And that was the Liberal strategy the whole time. Define Poilievre as scary, make voters wary of him. But they didn't really do that. If I was the Liberal Party of Canada, I would have been out there the day after. So I think it was September 10th last year that Poilievre, they had the convention. They announced he was leader. September 11th, I would have had radio ads. I would have had TV ads. I'd be in the Blue Jays game. I'd be on talk radio, conservative talk radio, because, you got to scare away potential voters for him. I would have been on the mom radio stations who are getting their kids ready for back to school, trying to scare them away from Pierre Poilievre. But they didn't do that. Liberal fundraising has not been great, but it's not, I don't see a reason why the cupboards would be bare. They get about a third to half of what the Conservatives get in terms of fundraising. They just haven't adapted since the getting rid of the per vote subsidy. They did well for a little bit when Trudeau first came in, but they haven't done well. Is that why they didn't run the ads? They simply don't have the money. They don't have the financial wherewithal.
No, and you're right. They do have the money. And, it's the internet age. If you do a really good ad and you drop it on the internet, it costs you nothing other than the cost of putting the ad together. Like, picture this, picture, kind of black and white and shaky camera and doomy music with lots of minor chords. And there's a picture of Pierre Poilievre with the convoy leaders, who, by the way, are now in court in Ottawa this week, and then show vandalizing of the Terry Fox statue and the war memorial and all that stuff.
That's the kind of thing that would scare off swing voters.
That's the kind of stuff I used to do.
But if they did that now, Poilievre's got these ads that are running that polling has shown are probably working, trying to show him as a nice family man who understands where you, average Canadian, are at. If the Liberals try and do what you've just described now, I'm not sure it'll work.
It looks desperate. And that's the problem the Liberals got. Like Abacus, they're not a conservative plant. They're, in fact, a polling agency that's very reputable, that the Liberal government uses themselves. 14 points ahead. Angus Reid, former longtime Manitoba Liberal, shows them the Poilievre 12 points ahead. Like, we're not just talking a majority, we're talking a big majority. So the Liberals need to get real and address their biggest problem, which is Justin Trudeau himself. He's been there, for almost 9 years. He's been Liberal leader for more than 10 years. It's time for a change. The problem is they haven't given themselves enough time to have a change, nor, as I'm going to write in a column for our paper today, is there anybody around him who's got the guts or the wherewithal to say, hey, Justin, the jig's up, we got to leave town. Nobody's doing that.
All right. Well, let us know what you think about the polls, about Poilievre's chances, about Trudeau. Let us know about all of it. Drop a comment down below. Share this on social media where you're still allowed to. And make sure you subscribe to our channel.